Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Macro Crest. We focus on fundamentals to direction and then technicals for entry. Last week we had the CPI data from the Swiss, which was better than expected. We had the services PMI of course came out lower, but it's still above 50. And then we had the labor data from NZD, which is bullish from NZD's end, but then the average cash earnings from the yen, which was one of my main focus, was less than expected at 2.5. Okay, and then we had the BOE interest rate, which was better than expected, came out. It was a bullish cut actually, but there was a cut, but it's a bullish one. So that's a short term to medium term strength from the pound. And then we had labor data on the card, which was unexpected. The previous was still at 6.5 in the unemployment rate, and it's still at 6.5. So the employment change, the amount of people that are employed, is at negative 40.8k, which is far less than expected. So what do? Focus our attention on this week. So what we would be having this week is very clear. So now we understand we are bullish on the pound already with this information. We know we are bearish on the yen with this information already. And then on Tuesday we will be having the interest rate precision from the RBA. But the question is it going to be a bullish, or is it going to be a bearish one, or is it going to be a neutral stance? It will come from their guidance, from this statement, okay, at 6:30. Between 5:30 or 6:30, you will get to understand better. And then we have the labor data from the pound. We have the CPI, which is the biggest information data we'll be looking at for this week. And then we have the GDP from the pound. Also we have PPI, which is okay, but I don't really care about PPI that much, because CPI will tell me what. And then we have the retail sales. But then let's look at this CPI a little bit. The market is pricing in 2.8, right? But if it comes out at 2.8, 2.9, that would be solid. Look at this data from 2.4, 2.3, 2.4, and then 2.7. It has been coming higher, in as much as it looks as though it's not. So if this information is actually lower than expected, then we know, okay, rate cut is on the way, and then the dollar is going to be extremely weak. But for now, I'm bullish on the dollar, because Powell said that the tariffs is actually affecting the prices of goods. So with that information, I know the dollar should be strong. Looking at this, we've been having 2 weeks of kind of range, and I'm expecting a little push to the downside, then a push to the upside. So to this demand, so probably we would have this, because this is what I'm saying. On the 4 hours, it's bearish. So if it changes bullish, then we know, okay, of course we'll be going to the top side. So with this piece of information, I'm looking at Aussie weakness also. If I'm looking at Aussie weakness, then this is what I'm saying. This is very clear. On the weekly, we are bearish on the Aussie. We are bearish on the Aussie. But the problem here is, if you look at this, this is lower low, this is a lower high, this is a lower low. So can we say this is a lower high area? If that is the case, then we might start seeing a trend. Okay, so watching closely, what are we seeing here? The previous candle was this candle. So what are we going to do? We go to the daily time frame, and we have a look at this supply, which I made mention. I didn't see it holding, so I have this area to be a short area, a supply area. So this would be the area I'd look out for shorts on Aussie. And then since Aussie is weak, what other pair is bullish against the Aussie? We would have the pound AUD. Of course, looking at it from a weekly stance, from the weekly time frame, we are bullish, no doubt. So I don't know if we could say that the market is actually reacting from this demand, but it's not my kind of structure, because even if you look at this on the monthly time frame, it's still not clean for me. It's still not clean. So this, the only time I'll be looking for longs is if price heads down to this point, then I can look for longs, because on the weekly time frame, that area is actually very clear. So this would be a kind of very powerful demand for me. So apart from this, I'm not doing anything with this unless we have a break of this structure here, and then okay, pull back, then we can start looking for longs. The next thing we would have is, remember the card is weak kind of, so I have my euro card here, which I've been longing is, and I gave out this information about this demand, and it has been holding very solidly. We also have that of the pound card. Now the pound card has broken structure. Looking at it from a weekly time frame, you can see this is still, where is that brush? This is a high, a low, a high. So this is a higher low, and if this is a higher low, this was a liquidity grab. That's the gated grab. So we are looking at a longs from this end, and looking at it from a daily time frame, what we do have is that there is this demand here, except the market pushes higher, pulls back, and creates a demand here. Then I can look for longs. Why? Because this is a break of structure. That is a break of structure. So price would likely react at this supply to push it lower, and then we can long. That's what I'm saying for pound card, for pound Swiss, which is the pay I took a loss last week, because I expected pound to cut and a bearish cut, but unfortunately I was stopped out. So where I'm expecting price to react from is just this area, just the supply. So I'm not really bothered about this, because it's changed. There's so many things that has changed. But now let's focus on a stronger one. It is a better structure here. What I do have was this. I was expecting the market to come lower, but we now have a better stance. This candle, let me clear all this. Alright, so we have this liquidity grab. It was a liquidity grab, very perfect one. We had that liquidity grab pushing price higher, and then this was a fantastic grab, and then we have this push. So what I'm expecting is potentially market reacting at this zone, at this 4 hours demand zone, and then we would see price push higher. So this is what I'm saying for the pound yen. And then we also have the UJ, the USD JPY. Looking at it from a weekly time frame too, what we do have is, I've been saying, calling this bullish all this while. So let me just take a little out of this. We've been bullish. We had a bullish demand here. So from here, I'm still expecting price to go to the upside. Why? If you go to your daily time frame, this was a break of structure, so this is a higher high, a higher low, a higher high, this is a higher low in my opinion. So I expect one more push higher high because of I'm potentially also pricing in a bullish CPI. So that's just basically what I'm looking out for the week. Nothing much. I'm still very cautious. Now for USD China, we had this low high, low high, low, and then this is high. So this was what I was expecting to continue higher. So this is what I'm looking out for. The problem I have with this is on the 4 hours. I don't know if I should consider this a push, one more push, then a pullback, and then I can continue long. So that's just what I'm looking to see. Yes, so have a nice and safe trading week.